In the vast realm of television, where countless shows flicker across the screen, one man stands above the rest. That man is me, Dark Swanson. My father, a man who once watched every episode of The Twilight Zone backwards just to challenge his mind, and who held the record for the longest TV marathon without blinking, believed that TV was the ultimate teacher. He subjected me to endless reruns, hoping to break my spirit. But instead, it forged me into the ultimate TV watcher. I binged entire series in a single night, predicted plot twists before the opening credits, and even once watched 3 different shows simultaneously. But my journey isn't solitary. By my side, in the shadows of my greatness, are Kiorein and Stairmaster. Though they may not have my unparalleled TV prowess, their passion for the screen is undeniable. Together, we are TV Tuners. Hi there, folks, and welcome to TV Tuners. It's a television podcast for the true fanatics. It's a weekly dive in the latest in TV news and reviews. I'm your host, Swanson, and with me, as always, is my co-host and big guy living in a cabin in the woods. He's gonna teach me some things, Stairmaster.
Oh, Swanson, so good to see you.
Yeah, you're.
Here, take this hat.
Yeah. What am I gonna do with it?
Go chop some wood. I didn't think this through. Sorry.
Oh. Okay. You want to tell me something about how I should eat?
You need to eat all of these burgers if you want to maximize your gains.
Huh. Well, I mean, he's pretty big. I guess I should listen to him.
Oh no, a man-eating ape.
I'm scared.
Oh.
And with us, as always, of course, our other co-host and big gangster who somehow is only 15 years old despite looking 30, Kiorein.
Does he even have any dialogue in these episodes? Yeah, I think that's the only thing
No,
he
I guess
says.
not. I guess he crushes a door handle.
Oh!
Hey! All right. How about detective who keeps leaving his cigarette butts outside my house, Kiorein?
You training properly, kid? Yeah, you are. I'm smoking. There we go. That's
Yeah,
good.
you're just gonna sleep right there, huh?
Yeah. I'm
Right in my
a decent
house.
guy. Come on.
You gonna watch those gang members beat the shit out of him?
What am I supposed to do? There's so many of them.
There's literally 100 of them.
Use your gun!
Okay, I use my gun, and do you think I can kill all those gang members with a pistol?
If you light it up right.
Well, if they line up right.
Oh.
Yeah, I'd have to tell them, hey, stand over here, like this, like that, stand right there, sit down. All right, hold on a second. Like that? Is that what you want me to do?
Is this
Yeah.
what you want? You sick freak. Anyway, welcome to another exciting edition of TV Tuners. We're back at it again. This week we are talking about anime.
Yep.
Japanimation.
Yes.
From Japan.
It's an interesting one. I have many questions. But
Yeah, Japan is an island nation, which is always a fascinating kind of culture to evaluate.
It's true. Imagine living on an island. What would that be like?
Surrounded by water.
Imagine being
Big
so
water.
close to the water and yet so far away.
Ocean water.
I have many questions, of course, but first, do you have quips, comments, questions, foresights otherwise? Well, if you have any of those, why don't you send them on over to our email address, and we'll read them aloud on the podcast. That's right, folks. All you got to do is send them to tvtunerspodcast@gmail.com. What's that email, Kiorein?
tvtunerspodcast@gmail.org.
That's right. And there's another question, of course, that burns in my soul that I have to get out, that I have to ask every week. What'd you guys watch? Anything fun?
Yeah.
Anything interesting? Something you want to talk about?
No, I've been playing Armored Core 6.
That's a video game.
That's a video. Yeah, that's why I didn't watch anything.
I mean, how much did you watch?
You watched the video game.
I played the video games.
You had to use your eyes to watch the screen with the video game on it. That's watching the
were
video
you
game.
closing your eyes, going.
Video games are television. That's what I've been telling everybody.
So are you saying we should start reviewing video games on this program?
Yeah, well, maybe we could even call it something like Game Grabbers. Something
We'll
like
put
that.
a pin on that. But next week, we can talk about Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
perfect.
Okay.
We
We got to replay the first two levels of Sonic 3 and Knuckles and get a review on the full game.
We can start doing video games just in time for. We can start doing video games just in time for SAG-AFTRA to do a video game voice strike.
Oh, well, there's
So
no voice acting in Sonic 3.
So it'll be even weirder for us to handle that. Anyway,
I think we'll be able to recap it.
Yeah, we're gonna recap the whole game, right? So first, we go through this level. and
No,
it's like-
first. No, we don't play the entire game, right? We would just play the first. I guess we play an hour of it, which maybe we could beat it in an hour. Can
Yes,
you
you
beat Sonic 3
absolutely
Knuckles in an
could.
hour?
If you're an expert like I am.
Can you?
Yes?
Okay,
I mean,
well, yeah,
you could beat
well, I
Sonic
guess some-
3
like-
in an hour. I don't know if you could beat Sonic 3 and Knuckles in an hour.
Is that a challenge?
Yeah, it's a challenge.
Well, yeah, looks like we're going to be doing TV Tuner's Game Edition next week. And we'll see who got the furthest in an hour of Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Stairmaster comes onto the recording in tears, saying, like, I made it to Sky Sanctuary, guys. Doesn't that count for something?
That is pretty far. That's almost at the finish line.
Yeah.
Almost doesn't cut it. And we, like,
Yeah, not
execute
good
them
enough.
on camera. Oh, yeah, it's
Yeah,
going to be a
like-
video podcast next week, too.
Yeah. And whoever got the least far in the game has to be shirtless. Swanson.
Oh, no.
Yeah, everyone will see my chiseled physique.
Yeah, Swanson has been hitting the gym.
Yeah, I've been
And
getting...
in fact, if you guys ever hear, like, on the recording, like, the sound of, like, barbells slamming down and, like, Swanson grunting, he's actually working out during the podcast. He got really inspired by the show we watched this week.
I did have to work out in the house because I set off the lunk alarm at my local gym.
Oh, yeah. You were setting it off so much that they asked you to leave very politely.
Yeah, I set it off in a period of, like, 5 times in a period of a couple minutes. So now I got something of a home gym going on. It's actually right here next to the studio.
Yeah, and he's working out at nighttime when we're trying to sleep.
Yeah, usually. Although, Stare, here, hold on, Stare, what, how was Armor Core 6?
It's game of the year. Oh. Yeah, that's what it feels like to play that game.
No pain, no gain.
That's what it feels like to beat Baltius.
Sorry, I had to get a couple quick reps in.
Yeah, we can see that.
So does Char Azrael show up in this?
No.
How about
But
Quattro Medina?
No, but you can't. You don't get to see the face of any human being. It's just
Only machine.
Yeah, it's just voiceovers.
There is only machine.
Yeah.
So you would say this is a tune-in?
This is absolutely tune in.
Okay. We give it 2 controllers up.
2 thumbsticks.
Let's see. Keo, anything?
Swanson. Come on, man.
You know I gotta ask.
What's up with you?
Yeah, I haven't been watching anything.
All right. I got a couple things I'll talk about.
Okay.
I recently finished the latest season of What We Do in the Shadows. Yeah, it's still funny. Still a good show.
How many seasons is that?
It's been on
3?
for 5 years. We did it early in our run.
So it was 5 seasons?
Yeah, 5 seasons.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Still good, still funny. It's kind of, it's what you expect from a show about a bunch of vampires. Shockingly little human murder this season for a show about vampires, but they get their licks in. Or
that's good. Maybe I'll watch that program. I'll think about it, Swanson. You haven't convinced me yet.
Speaking of human murder, I also watched a movie from the late 80s. And let me tell you, folks, this is a movie right here. This is a movie they couldn't make today. I'm talking, of course, about high school murder movie Heathers. High school murder comedy Heathers. It was pretty good. I feel like I watched this a long time ago when I was like a teenager, and I liked it then. I feel like I might actually enjoy it more now. It holds up pretty well.
So the plot is there's 2 Heathers.
There's 3 Heathers, and then it's a group of 4 popular girls, and 3 of them are named Heather, and one is named, like, I want to say Nancy. Also, Christian Slater is here as a guy who his plan is to blow up the school.
All based.
Yeah, he wants to blow up
here
the school.
Here at TV Tuners, we do not condone the explosions of school.
Yeah, true. I mean, Christian Slater's character is introduced as 2 jocks are trying to bully him, and he immediately pulls out a gun and fires blanks at them.
Based.
He's the original school shooter.
Kids, bring your gun. No, I'm not gonna.
No, and don't forget, blanks are completely safe.
It's a funny movie, very good, endlessly quotable. Some classic quotes such as "Fuck me with a chainsaw."
Did they?
No. I love my dead gay son. And my personal favorite, which is suicide. This is a very important time in your life to decide whether every teen has a very important time in their life where they decide whether or not to commit suicide. It's a good movie. That's it for me. I guess that's it for this segment.
That's it.
Nice.
For the podcast.
Yeah, we're keeping it short and sweet this week. We don't have anything really to talk about. Something that Stair had been talking about for a bit that he wanted us to watch.
Well, I was just doing it for laughs.
You just wanted to see our reactions to
I just wanted to see how far
3.
I could push it. No, I just.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Stair pushed it beyond the limits of pain.
I think I might have missed this. I feel like I'm going insane. What are you talking about?
Did we watch the program this week?
The show we watched?
Huh?
Oh, the show we watched this week. Okay, yeah, we did watch it. We actually watched it.
Are you okay,
It wasn't a
kid?
joke. I think I zoned out for a moment there. I lost track of what you were talking about.
You having a Mitch McConnell moment?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Keo, is it time for you to retire?
No, I need to spew my venom for as long as I live. My very last breath should be something about how I don't like minorities.
Yeah. Keo, it's time for you to retire so we can replace you with someone who's worse but more incompetent.
Who's 5 years younger.
Yes.
Yeah, I think what should happen is they should put Mitch McConnell in a room with 100 Republicans, and whichever one gets the killing blow gets to take his seat in the Senate.
Satire, parody.
Well, I think it should be. They should consensually do this.
Well, yeah, Mitch McConnell would be completely on board with this. He would say, "The strongest earn his seat."
What if he survives all the blows? Does he keep it?
Yeah, he would keep it, and he would. I don't know. He get to like bite the president or something.
Oh no! He fights Joe Biden, and Joe Biden becomes a were McConnell. Anyway, this is a great segue because what we're talking about right now, news, and I got some news for you guys. Strike-related news, of course. Disney Plus.
They stopped making TV shows.
True, and some services have stopped airing certain TV shows. Disney Plus pulls its upcoming show, The Spiderwick Chronicles, despite it having already completed filming.
The what?
The Spiderwick Chronicles.
You heard me.
Spiderwick.
Imagine if a spider made a candle.
The Spiderwick Chronicles is a live adaptation of a book series that focused on a family of young children who move into a decrepit estate and discover a world of fairies and other supernatural creatures. And I guess somehow this is not a series of unfortunate events.
A family solely of young children?
I guess so. A family of young children.
Like a children, mom and dad?
Like orphan, they could have said orphan siblings.
I guess so. I don't. This is what description I'm being given.
This is a real crab walk situation.
You have to explain that for the audience.
CNN did a story about a guy breaking out of prison by crab walking between two walls in the prison.
But
they didn't use a hyphen, so it was the convicted killer crab walked between two walls.
Yeah, it's a big crab.
I really want to see a crab get convicted of a crime and sentenced to prison.
I want to see Joe Biden pardon a crab.
Maybe the crab is really strong, like the Yasha Crag.
Okay, we could actually make this happen. They do pardon turkeys every year. Why can't they pardon a crab? We can get him. We can get some kind of like ocean-based holiday that involves a crab and some culture.
If you convince him that it will help him win Massachusetts by 100%.
Maybe they were gonna cook the crab, but then Baki's dad was like, "No, let him free."
What are some states where crabs are really, really popular?
Maine?
I think Maine is one of them, but I think Maine's pretty blue,
lobsters.
Right? Oh yeah.
Oh, it's lobsters, right?
Oh, our Maine listeners are so pissed off right now.
Lobsters are big different. There's a big difference, Kia.
Lobster bigger.
I'm saying. Okay, I'm just saying. I thought it was crabs.
Lobster.
I thought
bigger,
they had crabs too.
Claw.
I thought Maine had crabs and lobsters, like both. They don't just have crabs, right?
But they're famous for the lobsters.
True.
Okay,
Maine's also
got it.
Is it Maine or Massachusetts that's famous for the soft shell crab?
I think it's Massachusetts.
Okay.
We should watch a nature documentary about lobsters.
For the podcast?
Yeah. Or in general.
We're gonna have to tune in on that because it's just the truth.
Informative.
Yeah. Let's watch the movie The Lobster. I think that's about lobsters.
That's like
let's just watch documentaries every week about nature, and then always tune in because we were not lied to.
Because we love the natural world.
And then at some point, we just watch the movie Small Change, or whatever it was called.
Loose Change.
Loose Change.
And we tune in because they told us the real truth about how things went down.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's be honest. Disclaimer, we do believe that planes brought down the World Trade Center We're not sure about the provenance of the hijackers.
And we just have some questions. We just have a few questions about things that we have no evidence of.
We have some questions. We're gonna get answers. Anyway, this series was set to debut on Disney Plus, but no more.
Because they were too close to the truth about 9/11.
That's right. The series has been pulled despite being over, and Disney Plus has cited the strike as a reason. Although it's we've talked about this before. It's because you get a tax cut if you just don't air shit.
Oh yeah, they can write that as a loss or something.
Yeah, something that listen, this got to get addressed. Call up Mr. Biden. Joe, as I call him.
I don't understand that. Like I've been told this is the case. I still have not accepted that until like my the things I'm confident to say is the case.
Well, Hollywood
right?
accounting is famously bullshit and made up.
Yes. Yeah.
What's
also,
that one movie
considered...
that technically hasn't made a profit?
Oh, The Godfather?
Maybe. I think it was yeah.
Yeah, there, or maybe it was Jaws. I think there's a famously popular movie that they say
it's so famous you guys can't name it.
Well, maybe it's because there's a lot. According to Lucasfilms, Return of the Jedi, despite having earned $475 million at the box office against a budget of $32 million, has never gone into profit. This film was released in 1983.
How do they justify that?
I think they just pile on costs upon costs.
So you're saying costs that are far beyond the actual budget?
Yeah, the distribution.
Okay, here's another one that I found, which is that the studio behind Forrest Gump claims that it has never made a profit, despite selling over 300 million worth of tickets.
It's basically by overrepresenting overhead from the production, the distribution, and the marketing.
So is this just fraud they're doing?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's crazy.
They also claim The Lord of the Rings never made a profit.
Gone in 60 Seconds grossed $240 million at the box office, but the studio declared a $212 million loss.
So if they can just lie, why do they need to do this thing where they take off shows?
There's a whole Wikipedia about Hollywood accounting.
They can we'll see if they cancel the show, they can declare an even bigger loss because it never got distributed.
True.
That's crazy.
So yeah, here's a fun little blurb on the Wikipedia page. After the lawsuit Buchwald v. Paramount in 1990, the courts found Paramount's actions unconscionable, noting that it was impossible to believe that Eddie Murphy's 1988 comedy Coming to America, which grossed $288 million, failed to make a profit, especially since the actual production costs were less than a tenth of that. Paramount settled for $900,000. So it's chump change. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, a similar thing happened with Stan Lee, but he got $10 million.
Hollywood accounting is essentially a form of modern day mafia work.
Because they were joined at the hip.
Yes.
Back in the day.
Minus presumably the murder, but I don't know, maybe.
Well, less murder, more trafficking of humans.
Yes, correct.
And unlike the mafia, Hollywood is useful to the American Imperial Project, so they didn't crack down on it.
Yeah.
The more you know.
Yeah, it basically boils down to Hollywood accounting being weird and tax law in general being a deeply, deeply fucked up thing.
It's all lies. All of it.
They've lied to us. They will lie no more.
Is this the loose change they were talking about?
that was the truth. At the very end of the film, they say this show was a metaphor for how Hollywood lies about its accounting. The September 11th attack was done by non-domestic terrorists.
Well, I'm saying that it was done by, Middle Eastern guys. I'm just saying that their bosses were probably getting money from the CIA.
Without any explicit prompting from the U.S. government.
I heard that they wanted to get Stanley Kubrick to do 9/11, but he refused and they killed him.
Oh, the timeline would match up.
Yeah.
Especially after he made Eyes Wide Shut. 9/11 happens.
It was too much.
Interesting. We need a distraction.
This film is simply too hot.
And then they tried to make the Matrix sequels, and they had to do an op to make everyone hate those.
True. Anyway, so we'll probably never see the Spiderwick Chronicles, or even worse, we'll see it on some free channel, like Tubi TV or some shit. And by we, I mean the royal we, as in someone who cares about this show. We
will never review the
Spiderwick Chronicles.
I will never be free.
Anyway, the strike continues. It seems the going theory is that the studios have gravely miscalculated how long this would last. I saw a thing the other day that Disney has a posting for a crisis PR guy that they're looking to hire.
Maybe they should spend that money on their writers instead.
Yeah, perhaps.
I mean, how much do you think they're paying the crisis PR guy?
It was listed
since he's like a consultant.
I think it was listed as like $500K.
Yeah.
But yeah, strike's still going on. Pay these writers, pay these actors. Do what you gotta do until then. Alright, well, with all that out of the way, guys, there's only one thing left for us to do. We watched a show, and now we're going to talk about it. Baki the Grappler is a anime program that follows a young upstart named Baki, who's getting into the world of fighting.
Martial arts.
And he's going to be the
strives
best.
To be the strongest so he can beat up his dad.
Yeah, he wants to be a powerful warrior like his father. Did Baki make you feel the rush of endorphins to your brain? Or did it punch you in the face?
That's very interesting that you had trouble putting into words his motives. Would you like to hear an interesting fact?
Sure.
So, episode 1 of Baki, guess what chapter of the manga it starts from?
20.
73.
Jesus. What?
Yeah, there's like 5 fights in the present that we skip over, and then we go into this flashback arc.
Is he older?
Yeah, he's like 16.
Okay, that makes a bit more sense.
Yeah. We go from Baki's dad killing the strongest karate practitioner in Japan to him meditating under a tree and flashing back to his childhood, which starts with a panel of him envisioning himself as a fetus. And then cuts to the 2 crouchy detectives.
One of the things I was surprised about was that this show was that Baki does not look 13 years old.
Oh, that is true to the source material.
Yeah, he looks like he's 27 at the youngest.
Yeah, like I understand that anime has a thing of having protagonists who look way older than they are told to be, but this is, I think, stretching it to a degree. We are told after we see him beat up 37 out of 100 people.
He's 13.
That he is 13. And he, as Kyo said, he looks like he's in his late 20s.
Oh, he's not that much shorter than those guys he's beating up.
No.
And, he's built like a brick house.
And later we meet a guy who's eventually going to be like a big fight boy for him, who is gigantic and has
like
a scar
7
over
feet
his
tall
eye.
and like 4 feet wide.
And they're like, he's
all
15
muscle.
years old. And that guy looks like he's 35.
That guy looks like he's a machete fighting veteran.
Yes. That guy looks like he has like a wife and a child and is like trying to get a mortgage.
Through violence?
Yes.
Oh yeah, he is a Yakuza boss, by the way.
Yeah.
At the age of 15.
A mortgage.
If you're that big, you just go into the bank and you tell them you're getting a mortgage, and they say, yes, sir.
Well,
Yeah, I imagine him in the bank, and they're like, sorry, sir, we can't give you a loan. And he just grips the chair and breaks it. We're not getting you a loan today. We're getting you a loan right this second. But yeah, also, first things first.
This opening?
The beginning of Baki lets you know right from the jump that all males wish to be the strongest.
To have absolute strength.
True.
Also, it's a pretty good intro. Not in terms of... Yeah, the song is good. The intro itself is whatever, but...
You know what's surprising is, I mean, this isn't like the best anime we've seen by far. But the director has actually gone on to do some major stuff like Golden Kamuy.
What's that?
Which everyone is sucking the dick of.
Oh, okay. That's good, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, animation here definitely it's got that cheap old look to it.
Yes.
Like that mass-produced kind of look.
I would say it's sort of like slightly... I'd say they probably got like more keyframe animators than Berserk did. But the direction isn't as passionate as Berserk's was.
Now this
So it
is
kinda
a
levels out.
This is a pre 9/11 anime. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now,
Just barely.
you had pitched this show to us by saying that Netflix had a new season. So what happened with the gap between this show?
Well, season 1 and 2 cover the first manga, Baki, Grappler Baki, where Baki goes to the maximum tournament to fight for the right to be the strongest human alive, who isn't his dad. They make that's the conceit of the tournament. Is that
the people who aren't your dad?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then that got middling ratings, despite the manga being beloved. So they didn't do another anime until 2018, which covers part 2, where all the world's strongest prisoners simultaneously break out and come to Japan because they want to know defeat. So anyways, let's get to the episode.
So, yeah, let's get to it here. So, episode 1 here, titled bravely, The Stirrings of Destiny, or also titled Moving Towards Destiny.
Interesting, because I don't really think of Baki as sort of a show about fate or stuff.
He's destined to be the strongest.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fated.
It's called Baki the Grappler because it's foretold that he will become the grappler.
Yes. As we're told from Berserk, you can't change your fate.
True.
Or perhaps you can change fate, but you can't change yourself. So effectively, you're doomed to that fate.
True.
So yeah, we get introduced to this right off the bat. There's an entire gang ready
100 men
beat up 100 men, along with one big guy who's like their boss, I guess.
Yeah, and the lieutenant has like a sword or a big knife.
Yeah, and there's there's two detectives off in the distance who are like watching with like, whoa, they're gonna
they're
beat
the
a kid
child
up?
cops.
Yeah, they're part of the child division, which is like, I guess, an actual division in this.
I think they got one. Yeah, I think they got one in Tokyo because kids,
like
because juvenile crime is a thing.
I guess
I don't know how.
that tracks. We get introduced to Baki, who shows up, and he immediately jumps the fence that they're all in, and wraps his legs around the big guy and just punches him repeatedly in the face.
Also, he flexes on him by just walking up, putting the blade against his neck, and challenging them to kill him.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, no. And then Baki beats the shit out of him while he's expressing contrition.
Yeah. And like the other guy who's with what's the lieutenant's name? Kyo?
Yeah. He's not that important. I don't.
Yeah. The other guy with him is like, whoa, this kid's good. And he's doing well for a little bit, and then they start getting the jump on him. But then he imagines punching some bats in a cave.
He has a fun bit where he's like, oh, I'm only fighting 4 guys at a time. Which I guess is technically true.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how that works, actually. Only 4 guys can fight him at a time?
Angles, it'd be like surround a person.
I feel like
they need room to kick, so you can't fit that many people around a guy.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Because this is a very realistic program.
Yeah, there's diminishing returns as you add more guys to a fight. The more guys you add, the less effective the next guy's going to be.
It's true, yeah. Yeah, so the Baki's doing well, he's battling, and then eventually they overpower him, and the cop comes up and breaks it up. And he's like, "Wow, man, you managed to take out 37 of all 100 of those 100 guys." He's like, "Only 37?"
That'd be my reaction.
This reaction would make sense if we had that 73 chapters of Baki in the present, and that getting to see his dad in action. You'd understand his frustration.
No, instead he we see like silhouettes of his dad and like him being in a cave or something.
Yeah, I was able to understand his frustration just because of the fact that I know what the show's about already. So I have to
by osmosis.
Yeah, the grappling.
I have to wonder though, like, what would somebody who didn't see that think of that situation where he's unhappy with it? Do they just think he's like very arrogant or what?
And they think that kid's wild.
And he's just crazy, like he's just out of his gourd.
That kid's crazy.
Again, it took 18 years for them to do a follow-up series. So I guess anime-only fans were not very keen on this.
Oh yeah, how's anime-only fans doing?
Exceptionally good. All-time highs.
Yeah. Alright, good. We afterwards we learn that Baki is like training with he's training like Ivan Drago
with steroids. Style. That's Jack Hammer's gimmick.
Okay, yes.
Who we will never meet on this program.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, I guess he's everything but the steroids, but he's training like rigorously. And then he's just like, "No, fuck this is fake." Shit.
Yeah, he's like slapping around the lab guys who are telling him to do these exercises, and he's just like, "You guys suck. You guys are not actually getting me the strongest."
Yeah, it's like a bunch of dudes who are like it's one swole dude, and then a bunch of dudes who are like in lab coats with like glasses on, who are like, "You need to do 82 push-ups."
Like, Baki, we have calculated.
Like, no,
we have calculated the perfect training regimen.
Which this makes sense if you know what Baki's dad is capable of. But if you're going into this blind, I feel like this would be a bit harder to justify mentally.
It just seems very like outlandish that he's this dedicated to training, and there's no reason given for it.
Yeah. He breaks a bunch of the equipment in there, and he starts.
Didn't he throw something out the window?
Crying that he couldn't even.
And it's like a very high
he throws,
up.
Yeah. He starts like crying that he couldn't even beat up 100 dudes.
Well, if I got my ass kicked by 100 dudes, I would cry too.
From the pain.
Well, he didn't get his ass kicked by 100 dudes.
Yeah, he got his ass kicked by 63 dudes. Come on, Swanson. It's basic arithmetic.
You had to think about it.
Well, I got a little nervous because I'm on the podcast. You just gave up and said 60-something.
I'm all about pushing the podcast forward.
Like Baki. But Baki
right.
would have counted.
There's also this guy, there's this gang leader, the guy who tried to put his sword to Baki, and Baki was like, fuck that.
Yeah.
He's interested. I don't know what the deal is really going on here. So there's a guy who
Baki's
works
mom
for Baki's
is
mom.
like she's the puppet master, and she's got like a little fixer guy who goes to meet the lieutenant.
What a nasty woman.
Yeah, and pours coffee down his pants. She's a nasty woman who's also mommy.
Yes.
Hey, calm down.
She's a mother. She could be a mother figure.
You need to
There's a scene where
relax.
she gets her fingernails painted.
Okay, you guys need to chill out. You're
Go out completely nude.
you guys need to
Also, the end credits for some reason just show her seemingly completely nude.
Don't worry about it. Move
What do you
on.
mean for some reason?
Look, apparently that did not work to attract an audience.
Yeah, tragically.
You gotta watch the end credits, man. You see back.
Yeah, speaking of women, there are a total of 4 female characters in this show.
Like ever?
In the series. Yes. And only 3 of them have names.
Yeah, this is a program
entirety
for
of Baki.
what we call men, Stairmaster.
Yeah, it's
about
this
boys.
Is a male
It's
program.
about men. Muscles,
You're
throwing
doing-
things,
This is
punching,
for the
swimming,
dudes.
kicking.
And also girls who are into yaoi for some reason.
Yeah, do they have any like homoeroticism in this? Yes? Without
Well,
hesitation,
they
you
certainly
say
make
yes?
comics about it. That's for sure.
I was gonna say there's a whole. I heard that there's a whole essay that's linked in the Wikipedia page about the homoeroticism of Baki.
Okay.
Well, I think it's a lot more apparent if you read the comics because it shows in the art style, which I don't think this anime quite captures. Because it kind of makes people look more normal in this.
They look normal in this?
Relatively speaking.
I mean, I guess they look normal. They just don't look the exact age they should be,
I don't think they look
or
normal.
even close any sort of approximation.
They look like meat golems to me. A lot of these characters.
Yeah, they do look. They do all look in like Baki. If I saw a 13-year-old who had the body of Baki, I would shit my pants.
I would kill myself.
That's not a human. I've landed in some sort of like berserk realm.
I would just immediately end my own life out of fear of what he's about to do to me if I ever saw this character in the real world.
Well, again, I'm just saying it's not as crazy in the manga. It's not as crazy compared to the manga.
What does the manga look like?
Well, you'll have to look that up in your free time.
Okay. We're not going to do that thing where
Where I post an image and you describe it.
Yeah, we're not going to do that.
No.
No.
But yeah, Baki, looking for a new reason to train, goes and sees a sparring match between international welterweight boxing champion
Muay
Yuri
Thai.
Tchaikovsky, Muay Thai champion.
Yeah.
I thought the guy he was facing was Muay Thai.
I think they're
He's
both
just a
Muay Thai.
boxing
Well,
dude.
they're both kickboxing. So I think it's...
Okay.
I think he's competing for the Muay Thai tournament.
Yeah, Yuri Tchaikovsky.
So we get his backstory where he destroys a pack of wolves with his bare hands.
Yes.
To defend his little sister.
He defends his sister by fighting off a pack of wolves. And he's like, listen, I gotta fight this guy.
And just so you guys know, if that happened in real life, it would be very unlikely to win that fight.
Thanks.
That's correct. Yes. In fact, if it would probably not happen in real life because he would get like 1,800 lawsuits if he fought a minor.
This is Japan in the 90s. Things were different, Swanson.
Yeah, you could beat up any 13-year-old you wanted.
Nice. What a beautiful country.
And Baki does get his ass kicked.
Yeah, they leave it as sort of a like cliffhanger, and in the second episode, like the fight happens, and he surprises him for like a couple minutes, and then he gets his ass kicked.
How pathetic! He can't beat a boxing champion.
He can't beat a contender for a champion.
He can't even beat the boxing champ. What the hell, this guy?
Have you seen the impressive feats of his father? These pale in comparison.
Well, we haven't, but I could imagine.
Oh, you can't imagine because there's no mention. Did they even mention his father? I don't remember them mentioning him in this portion.
They mentioned
him
a couple times.
Okay. I must have glossed over that.
Also, second episode titled "Those Who Squirm" or "The Ones That Squirm."
Who's squirming in this episode? Baki?
Baki, I guess, after he gets punched out, after his lights get punched out.
That will happen if you get hit hard enough in the head.
I do appreciate this show cutting to a commercial right as Baki gets punched in the face.
Okay, I take back what I said about the directing. That is, you gotta give him that.
Yeah, that's pretty good. We also get introduced to a guy who I'm assuming will be one of Baki's rivals, who is this big...
Hanayama. The 15-year-old Yakuza boss. Who is about the size of a minivan.
Yeah. And he gets recruited to fight Baki, and throughout this and the next episode, that he's mainly just looking for Baki.
He's kind of just waiting for Baki. He immediately finds out went to the mountains, so he's like, okay. And by okay, I mean he says nothing.
I'm not going up there.
Well, yeah, he's got a job, Swanson.
Yeah, he's got stuff to do. He can't be doing all that.
He's got a life of crime.
Yeah. True.
But it's honorable because he will never surrender.
But yeah, he gets beat up by Yuri, and he's like, he doesn't take it well. These guys are like, yeah, of course you didn't beat the welterweight boxing champion, bro. Like, you're a child. And he's like, you don't get it. I've never lost.
Except 63 guys.
Except for yesterday. Except for last episode where I only
okay, guys, lay off him a minute. He just got beat up really bad. He's probably got head injuries. It's not fair.
No, I don't think head injuries exist in this world where someone can take 15 headshots in a row and still be like, I'm fighting.
Yeah, exactly.
Where the boxing champion, I want to say in the first episode takes a solid minute of just knees to the gut.
Also,
in between scenes.
Yeah, in this episode, Baki does the thing where he gets his legs around his face and starts pummeling him for like a minute.
And the guy's just like mildly perturbed.
And in the next episode, there's a giant man-eating ape.
Well, that part's
that escalated a lot.
That part is based on true stories.
Yeah, we've all heard about the Yasha ape. Anyway, yeah, this is when This is when Mommy shows up because he goes back to his house, and Mommy shows up and she's like, "I love you, son." She doesn't say that. He's like, "I'm doing things my way. You gotta understand that." And she, as she gives him a normal son and mom kiss right on the lips,
right in front of the two cops.
I like that she shows up and the cop dude's like, "Whoa, that's your mom?"
Oh yeah, we forgot to mention Baki lives like in a shed.
A shed that's been vandalized because, as the cop puts it, it's the only way that the people can get back at him.
Yeah. Which is pretty badass.
Yeah, kind of cool. Yeah, she gives him a very normal kiss and says goodbye. And for some reason, the cop guy is staying over at Baki's house.
Probably to make sure nobody tries to kill him. With like
well, he mentions that he's having wife problems.
Yeah, he's escaping his fucked up house life with work.
And Baki makes himself a big pack, and he heads out to the mountains.
Yeah, he does.
To train.
Yeah, he wraps a bunch of stuff up and ties it to his back.
Yeah. I want to mention to you guys that recap was for 2 20-minute-ish episodes. In case you were wondering that if I was like combining things or skipping over maybe a little bit. But in terms of plot movement, that's really all you're getting.
And they're cutting stuff from the manga as well. There's a scene where he runs into some JSDF soldiers while he's marching up to the mountains. And they're bewildered.
Has Baki ever fought a Jean-Claude Van Damme-like figure? Okay.
Well, it doesn't look like Jean-Claude Van Damme, but he is like a special forces guy.
I definitely feel like for an adaptation of a manga, there's not enough animation in this to really justify it.
Yes. Also, Baki's dad has like a colonel following him around. A U.S. colonel following him around. Sort of like a Trodman figure.
Interesting. Are there any Donovan-like figures in Baki?
You mean rapist? Yeah, Baki's dad.
Oh.
He's got so much testosterone, he sees every other being on the planet as female. Every other human being.
Oh, is that where the homoeroticism comes into play?
No, that was way out. That was revealed like last year in the manga.
Does he treat them like female?
Yes.
Swanson, yes, of course.
Like he says, like, "Hey,
what's up? We don't. We just get a flashback of a guy who's really into manly stuff like mountaineering and whatnot because Baki's dad raped him one time. And he had to compensate for the damage to his masculinity.
It sounds like Baki's dad is also compensating for something.
No, he just... You can't think of Baki's dad in like normal human terms. He's more of a force of nature. Sort of a capricious god who just does things on a whim.
Yeah, he's
anyways, Baki is not okay. The franchise is entertaining, but it's not okay.
It's like if you took a man and replaced all of his blood with testosterone.
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds bad.
Yes, it is bad. Exactly. That's the moral of the story, I think.
Baki's dad is so powerful. When he was born, every major country leader on Earth got a subconscious urge to accumulate weapons of mass destruction to protect themselves.
So he was born in the 40s?
Yeah. He was born shortly after, I think.
Okay.
How is Baki ever going to get strong enough to take him on?
It's not going to happen. I bet you it's going to be like Kaiji, where he's like, never actually gets to that moment.
Yeah, he's just going to drive off in a van with 20 billion yen.
And just have an adventure where he's on the run.
Yeah. Dilemmas where he has to talk to an old lady for 20 chapters.
So we get to the third episode, my favorite because it is the most unhinged.
Yeah, this is where we get the pure strain Baki.
Yes, this is the Beast of Yasha Crag or the Monster of Yasha Cave. So Andre the Giant shows up. He's at this cabin that Baki has been heading to in the woods. And it's not Andre the Giant, but it might as well be.
And he's not the first pro wrestler to show up in this manga. Not XP.
Yeah, who showed up before?
There's a guy who's based off, what's his name? Igaraki? Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Baki fights him. Like, it's his third fight.
So I'm shocked that it wasn't like Antonio Inoki or something.
Yeah, it was it was based off Antonio Inoki.
Oh, okay.
But his name is Mount Tenda. And then after Baki beats him, his dad shows up and beats him up to show how strong he is.
Well, yeah, if his dad could beat up Antonio Inoki,
yeah,
rest in peace.
There's also a tribute chapter to Antonio Inoki and Baki when he died.
Oh, from like last year.
Yeah. That features said character faking his death and then beating up a bunch of MMA guys at their dojo.
Yeah,
build up heat.
That's something that I feel like the actual Antonio Inoki would have
Yeah.
done. So, did you ever see the clip of Antonio Inoki being pranked on a Japanese show?
No.
Where he's like sitting in a room watching TV, and a guy comes down from the roof, Mission Impossible style, in front of him, and he just slaps him in the face
Yes.
repeatedly.
Wait, Antonio slaps him?
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He slaps the man in the face repeatedly, and like gets up and like starts shouting expletives at him.
Like full on bleeped?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, good. Rest in peace. What a champ.
Anyway, yeah. We get Andre the Giant here. He gives Baki some great advice, like eating food is good.
It'll make you grow big.
Yeah, meat is good for your muscle development, apparently. Which is news to me.
The more meat you eat, the better you'll be for muscle gain.
He does warn Baki about the ape of Yasha Crag. It mentions that his father fought one years ago.
Yeah, and Baki's like, I'm gonna fight it. And he's like, I don't think you should, man. He's like, I'm gonna do it.
And he's like, no, imagine a bear. He's like, okay. Now imagine something that's stronger than a bear.
We see it kill a bear.
Yeah, well, it's not enough for us to imagine it. The show does show it.
I mean, Baki doesn't see this, though, but he's just trying to explain to Baki how strong this thing is, and Baki's like, I'm going to fight it.
Yeah.
And he says that even Baki's dad got wounded fighting it. Which I don't believe.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true.
He also refers to the Yasha Crag as like leaving Baki and the Yasha Crag is like leaving a child alone in New York. So I guess Andre the Giant hasn't seen Home Alone 2. Anyway, Baki goes out and like within minutes of being out there, the ape just shows up. And he shits his pants pretty much, and Andre the Giant has to come and try and save the day. And he throws an axe at the thing
with the axe.
Yeah, and it just bites through the axe. So then he's like, well, okay, you bit through my axe, but what about my fist?
Well, I feel like that was the option of last resort Swanson, let's be fair.
I guess, yeah. Although he does aim for it right in his mouth. But yeah, he I thought we were gonna get some gnarly violence where like it rips off his hand or something.
Well, it is a bit toned down here
it.
compared to the original, but I don't think he loses his hand.
And Baki like manages to Baki like scares it away, I think, with gasoline. He starts a fire on it.
Yeah.
And it runs away. And Baki
gets...
then
we get this... Yeah, he has to do some improvised first aid with the gunpowder.
Yeah, Andre the Giant is like, Baki, get me the shotgun shells. Okay, now get me the shotgun. And he just preps it real quick and kills himself.
No.
No, he
uses the
gets in the
gunpowder
shotgun.
to cauterize his wound. Pretty hardcore.
Yeah, pretty hardcore stuff. And then after he does that is when they call
the SAR.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got an emergency radio because he lives out in the mountains.
They take him to the hospital. They're like, "Whoa, this guy's huge." There's this whole monologue this doctor has about, like, remember those songs they would sing about the monster? Anyway, that monster totally doesn't exist.
In the dub, I watched this dub for some reason. They talk about how the bravest warriors in history would go to fight it, and only the ones whose names we remember came back alive from it.
Oh, I should have watched the dub.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not very good. It was an early Funimation joint.
Those are very charming,
Okay.
actually.
Near the end, now we're getting to the part where, okay, so we haven't really, we've mentioned that there's an ape now, and we haven't really talked about how fucking wild it is compared to the first two episodes, which are pretty grounded, if a little weird.
This escalated very quickly. They're like,
Suddenly there's just a monster.
Yeah, well, if you're reading the manga, this is more like a return to norm. Because before this, Baki fought a guy whose power was he graduated from medical school, which makes him a terrifyingly powerful martial artist. And he's also performing inhuman experiments on people
oh my god,
to improve his martial arts.
Why do they adapt it like this? Do they think that that first stretch was too boring or something?
I don't know. I think they just thought it would make more sense to start from the beginning.
Oh, okay.
There was an OVA in the 80s that covered, like, the karate tournament stuff. But I didn't give you guys that because it cut some stuff out. Also, it's not on Netflix.
So, what we get next is that Baki decides that he's going to eat a bunch of food. And so we get him just eating repeatedly over and over again. And, like, his stomach grows. Like, that day, his stomach grows.
Yeah, we're on some Andrew Tate style. Jordan Peterson bioscience. Where he's eating 25 guy meat burgers.
And then we get, like, a monologue from his mom where she's like, he's going to push himself beyond the pain.
She's describing what is known as the runner's high.
Yes. But it also sounds like she's describing, like, him ejaculating.
So this culminates with Baki throwing himself off a cliff.
Yes. Well,
in order to
okay,
his
Stair,
reflexes.
hold on. You cannot just glance over the fact that when she is talking about how his brain will be releasing endorphins, he essentially gets galaxy brained. Each time it happens.
Well, Arnold Schwarzenegger told us about this.
It's that combi.
It's better than any drug.
Yeah, I mean, we even get a shot of, like, a squirt of something on the screen.
Endorphins, a squirt of endorphins from a gland. Swanson. Well, I mean, you're making this sound dirty. And honestly, I'm getting really, offended, Swanson. You're going to try to put this type of dirty talk on this clean show. Nice, clean show.
This podcast not for adults. It's for children.
This is a children-friendly
This is a child's
podcast.
program. This is Actually, I wonder. I should see what magazine Baki was in. Yeah, it was.
Oh, he's on Christian.
Yeah,
Children
it was
Monthly.
in a monthly Shonen Champion or weekly Shonen Champion, I think.
Yeah, that's for young boys. Shonen means
Shonen means
young boy.
that's a target demographic.
Dang. Anyway, he's getting galaxy brain to the point where he decides that now he will jump off a cliff. And wow, I guess that's just the end of the show.
Yeah. You mad?
No.
I'm mad
Kinda
that we didn't
wild.
get to see Baki's dad. I'm
Yeah,
mad
that
that we
would've
don't
been
get to
nice.
see the end of the Yasha Crag saga. There's so
Well,
much.
That's the 3-episode rule.
Yeah.
Yeah. True. So, I guess that's that. I do want to say one more thing about this endorphins thing because I think it's hilarious.
Because it is sublime.
It is sublime. They treat it like it is Goku training to be Super Saiyan. Like, he is moving faster. He's, like, doing push-ups quicker. He's like, this endorphins are great.
Shouldn't he be very, very used to the feeling of endorphins?
Yeah, he has
the
been
training
working
regimen
for
he seemed to be on.
Yeah,
I don't
it seems
know.
a little late in the process for him to have this realization.
It's like the author did some research on how the body works, and they were really excited about it. So
Yeah, sort of like JoJo.
But only like the most basic research. Didn't look much farther.
yeah,
But yeah, that's pretty much these episodes here. What do we think about Baki the Grappler?
not impressed.
Oh! Well, I can imagine that. There are definitely some questionable choices.
Combine that with the
It's
limited
so-
animation. Like you said,
It's not that limited, but yeah.
It is.
It's hurt by the fact that it's early Digipaint. So it didn't look
Yeah.
that great.
Yeah,
Doesn't look
the
very pretty.
animation wasn't great.
It's weird that he gets kissed by his mom.
Yeah, that is pretty.
Well,
weird.
I didn't care about that.
Oh, of course not, Swanson.
That was fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think you gotta have Baki's dad if you want to sell this.
Yeah, you gotta show me Baki's dad. You gotta show me Andre the Giant getting like his hand ripped off or some shit.
Yeah, if there's no Baki's dad, I don't know what I'm watching this for. I was waiting for Baki's dad. I thought maybe he'd show up in the 3rd episode or something. I'm just like,
I'm sorry, Keo.
where's Baki's dad? Where is
I
he?
will go check the OVA to see if he.
I see
showed
Andre
up.
the Giant, and I'm like, oh, is that Baki's? Oh, he's not. Definitely not Baki's dad.
Yeah, I guess we'll just have to let imagination figure out what Baki's dad is like because I think I'm tuning out on this.
Yeah, for me, it's a tune out. If it were a better looking show and like the action was, I don't know,
Oh,
a bit more refined, maybe I would have been more into it. But the plot was real thin for these episodes, and there's no Baki's dad, so it's just like, okay, you know.
I mean, how confusing would it have been for us to just go in with the Netflix revival?
probably would have been based though, because right off the bat you have him fighting a giant mantis, and then they revive a caveman who used to punch dinosaurs, and Baki's dad is there.
I'm assuming because it's been from recent, the animation's much better.
Yes.
Yeah, I think this was a miscalculation on our part.
Yeah, maybe we should have just watched that.
Yeah. Oh well.
I mean, listen, I still
Anyways.
had fun with that 3rd episode.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. Would it change the thing if I told you the 3rd episode was more of the norm?
Yeah, a little bit.
I mean, it wouldn't change my interpretation of these 3 episodes we watched. I would still tune out.
Okay. Fair enough.
I would tune out with the asterisk that like I would be willing to watch the newer version.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
There-
Yeah, that's Baki. I think I would tune out as well
Ooh.
for the reasons listed. I already read the manga.
Yeah, with your encyclopedic knowledge of it, I could kind of tell.
So there you have it, folks. That's a tune out on Baki the Grappler. That might be the first anime we've watched for the pod that we've tuned out on.
Hopefully the last. But if you want to
Yeah,
hear us tune out on more, like Gundam Seed, hit us up on Buy
Oh,
Me a
God.
Coffee.
Don't make someone buy us Gundam Seed.
Gundam Endorphins.
You could have us. Yeah, you can go over to buymeacoffee.com/tvtuners, and a single coffee will give you a single episode of anything you want us to talk about. You can have us watch, I don't know, Gundam War in the Pocket. Hell, I'd watch probably Stardust Memory over Gundam Seed.
Also another early Digipaint show.
Yeah, just, don't give us stuff we don't want to watch. Don't make us watch things that suck. Or do, if you think it'll be fun, I guess.
Make us watch something that's really good, like the best thing you've ever seen. Make me happy. Make me smile. Make me laugh.
Make us watch Last Temptation of Christ.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I want to hear Kio's thoughts on that.
This is a fictional story. The events in this film have not been verified.
They sort of do say that. They have to say this is not explicitly based on the Gospels. Please do not shoot up the movie theater.
Yeah.
Christ was not tempted. He had no temptation in his heart.
Christ was actually not human.
He did not care about the temptation.
So yeah, that's TV Tuners.
Yeah, so that's it for this week's episode of the show. Next week, well, we're staying anime adjacent. Yeah, you better believe we're talking about Netflix's live-action One Piece.
Yeah,
So
people are saying it's good,
and we're going to be the judges.
What a weird world we live in.
Yeah, we're going to be the ones to decide.
We're going to find out. We're going to find out if Netflix was capable of creating a good version of a highly cartoonish anime and a bad version of a pretty realistic anime and somewhat realistic anime in Cowboy Bebop.
Naturalistic.
Yes, something that would be more suitable for live action.
Something from a genre that has been very well explored in live action and film.
Yeah, true. I guess maybe that doesn't help either. But yeah, until next week when we're stretching.
Don't give it up.
Are you going to do the rap? You going to do the rap?
I was waiting for you to say a character's name.
It's over.
Don't give it up, Swanson.
Don't give it up, Kio.
Hey folks, it's time for the TV Tuners Fact of the Week. Did you know that Stairmaster is the main rapper from the hit One Piece intro song?
That's right. Yo ho ho, we took a bite of gum gum.